One. And welcome back to Hot and Cold Podcast. Whoa. We have a bombshell today. There was a ton of news on when are we July 14th of 2021. A ton of news. A lot regarding a certain player that we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks. We'll get to that in a minute, but before we do that, Connor, how are we doing today?
Oh, I'm great, man. I am great. Ready to roll today. To quote Stu Feiner,
Ready to roll. Ready to roll. Connor is for our viewers. Before we get into this, Connor is in a certain type of mood today.
I'm amped up.
He's amped.
I've been amped all day for this.
He is very amped. But before we get into that, let's talk about our good buddies over at A-Shock. Again, best energy drink on the market. I'll tell you something. So I went in a different direction today. This weekend, really. So you know how I always go with like the easy flavors, blue raspberry, orange freeze, the best. Well, I kind of went in a weird direction today. I got myself a cotton candy.
Oh.
You don't like it.
It doesn't sound good.
Well, I'll tell you what. It was just perfect. I loved it. I loved it. It was very good. And it was weird. I usually would not like a specialty type drink like that. But I'll be honest, it was pretty good. And I really appreciate that A-Shock provides so many different flavors. Again, 300 milligrams of caffeine. Go get your A-Shock. Best way to start your day. Whew. So let's just get into it. By the way, second half of this episode, our newest employee, our newest signing in NIL, Alex Hemenway, is going to be in the second segment. And this is going to be split up. So we did the Alex interview a couple days ago. This is going to be split up into two completely separate episodes. Sometimes you can kind of see the tie-in to the interview because we're recording on the same day. We like our questions kind of have, the same type of deal, but this is completely two different episodes and it's perfect. This is why it's the best. This is the best college basketball podcast in America. So let's get into it. So today, all right, let me just preface this by saying all week, the rumblings of Kofi Cockburn going to Kentucky, they've plowed on. They have plowed on. It's gotten bigger and better. Jack Pilgrim and Sean Smith, two of our buddies, by the way, had both of them on the podcast. They went on, had an hour episode kind of talking about what it can mean, like what's the latest and greatest on it. And they stated, this is something that was stated, and I want to get out in front of it. Cal and his staff alerted the team of this possibility. Many within the organization were down for it. A vast majority were down for it. And they thought, okay, let's bring him in. And we're, arguably the best team in the country. But there were some that thought it wouldn't really work. The fit wasn't there, blah, blah, blah. They just were kind of skeptical of it. And they wanted to talk to Cal more about that. Not like saying, okay, like we're out if he comes, but just kind of in that tone.
Oscar Sheboy.
Probably Oscar Sheboy. But we move along to the next day, and Drew Franklin of KSR posts that Kofi basically is just saying Kofi will not be coming to the University of Kentucky. And it kind of gets turned into stated that Kentucky has cut ties with Kofi. There never really was. People even went as far as to say there never really was communication. It was kind of overblown as the amount of Kentucky's interest there was in general. So it's very interesting how it unfolded. It is a very interesting turn of events. Connor's chomping at the bit. How do you want me to give my perspective first? Because
sure.
I'll let you go off and then I can bring you down to earth. Or
no, you're good. Go ahead.
Oh, he's so cocky today.
I want you to just give your And I'll kind of maybe adjust my tone a little bit depending on what you say.
Okay. So here's what I think went down between Coach Calipari, Orlando Antigua, Chin Coleman, and Kofi Cockburn. So I will admit, if he goes to Illinois, this is a recruiting loss. 100%. This is not what some people are turning it into, unintentionally or intentionally. If the news was broken by Kentucky as a kind of an attempt to save face, maybe. And I'm one of the biggest Kentucky fans in the world, and I am more than willing to say when they are wrong, when they do something stupid, they do something dumb. And I think this is one of those times. I think Kofi Cockburn, there's a reason it kind of sparked as soon as he entered the transfer portal. There's a reason Kentucky's name was brought up immediately. Our good buddy Aaron Torres came out and said he's talking to everybody in the media, everybody who would know. They all said, okay, I think he's going to Kentucky. He has a lot of interest in that program. Orlando Antigua, he got him to Illinois, all this stuff. So the interest from his side was real, and nobody can really take that away. Illinois had a good pitch. Illinois they did. And I'm going to give him credit for it because he is going to be, as we said in the last podcast, he's going to be Batman as he was a big ass Robin, as I quoted. Yeah. I called him big ass Robin. So he's going in. He's, you'd think he'd be the number one option on this Illinois team. So he's probably, he hasn't even committed. I'm not saying he is even going back to Illinois because he could go to Florida State, but say he goes to Illinois, there's your reason right there. Now on Kentucky's side, I think whether you like it or not, Kentucky was the front runner. Okay. Kentucky was the front runner for Kofi Cockburn. The way Cal handled it, the way the coaching staff handled it, I think is inexcusable. I think with how they're kind of, look, when you go to Kentucky, you are never given minutes. You have to earn every single minute. And I think if Cal is doing that to keep Oscar Tshiebwe happy, if Cal is cutting ties with Kofi Cockburn to keep Oscar Tshiebwe happy, I think that is something that's something he has preached against in his whole coaching career because he had the platoon. You know, he had 10 guys that could play at once. There were 12 guys on that team. And that this completely goes against everything he's preached. You bring the best guys to Kentucky and you go about it that way. You're never given minutes at Kentucky. And I think if he is backing down from Kofi Cockburn because of Oscar Tshiebwe, I think that's the wrong move. Second reason, if that's not why they cut ties, sure. The second reason that they could have cut ties, Jalen Duren. Kentucky was in on Jalen Duren before they were in on Kofi Cockburn. We all know this because Kofi Cockburn entered the transfer portal later than Jalen Duren was announced to be reclassifying. So if they try to spin it to where they have always had Jalen Duren as the number one priority, I mean, that's just false. And if that is true, that is just dumb. When you have a second team All-American on your doorstep, ready to go, ready to be on the roster, you do not turn that down. And if he is a more sure thing to be on the roster than Jalen Duren, then you take him. You 100% take that. 100 out of 100 times. And again, look, if I got to pick and choose, I probably would have picked Jalen Duren to join the roster. I think he fits with the roster more, but he wasn't as sure thing. We had to wait. We're not even number one in the running, according to a lot of people that know. So I thought that was a dumb decision. Now, is there a chance they get Jalen Duren and all is happy? Then yeah, there is a chance. But they have a lot of ground to make up. Because I do believe they half-assed their way through this Kofi Cockburn thing. I think they did have interest. And I think they took a little bit of that away from Jalen Duren to give to Kofi Cockburn. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. Connor's chomping at the bit to talk about this right now. So let's hear it.
Yeah. So first off, you're just going off kind of what you said. If they did choose Duren over Kofi, that's a mistake in itself, in my opinion. I know Duren's the high-profile player, but in college, just as a college player, I think Kofi will have more of an impact than Duren will. So I think that's dumb.
And that's an objective statement.
Yeah.
Or a subjective statement. That's something people can argue about all they want. But
yeah. I mean, they were Kentucky guys. I think you said, I can't remember. It was Matt Jones that said he would rather have Kofi.
It was Sean Smith and Jack Pilgrim were talking about it.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
I think Sean Smith said he'd rather have Kofi. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I mean, it was a debate. It was probably pretty even. The other thing is, like you were saying, first off, where is Oscar Tshiebwe getting this credibility? Like, I get he was a 5-star, but why is, if Cal is like keeping Kofi away to keep Oscar happy, like, who cares? Kofi is the better player. Like, that makes no sense to me at all.
It's dumb.
Yeah, that's dumb. And this whole information about how it's kind of being suggested that Kentucky really didn't have a strong interest. They really kind of backed off, and they, quote, encouraged him to return to Illinois. That is completely ridiculous. Wow. That doesn't happen. Can you imagine being in a recruiting meeting and just be like, you know what? The coach just told me that I should not go to their school. It's the most weird recruiting meeting that I've ever been in. But I was kind of talking to you about this earlier. And look, everybody knows my feelings about Matt Jones. I've had my grievances with him, but like this, I think he is reporting what he was told. That's kind of what I was trying to explain today. It was kind of confusing when I was texting you about it earlier. I think what he's reporting is factual from a Kentucky source. Whether that Kentucky source is just covering the team's ass is another thing, though, and which he clearly is. Like, that is, I don't believe any of that at all.
Right.
There's too much smoke with that. But yeah, I think this was a bad move. I'm not going to get too much into it because you kind of did, and it's just, if you come up empty-handed here, it's not good. It's not like disaster because you still have Oscar. Right. I mean, you're gonna be fine. But
here's what's dangerous about what we just did. What we just did with this offseason, rounding out this offseason. Like, we went into this, right? We went into both of these players, in Jalen Duren and Kofi Cockburn, and they were pipe dreams, right?
Yeah.
It was kind of it was the icing on the cake. It was the cherry on top. It was the piece of the roster that pushes us over the top. Yeah. So when we lose out on one, and it looks like we may lose out on the second one, everybody panics. Yeah. Everybody doesn't think this roster is good enough, which is just, it's not true. I think this team is good enough to make a run. I think this team is good enough to compete. Obviously, it would have been better with one of these two players, but it's just, this is what's dangerous with what we just did, because now everybody sees this offseason in a bad taste, when it was a great offseason by
good offseason. Yeah, right. Definitely. The one thing that I think, though, is I think, not to say that Kofi was in need, but Oscar is kind of unproven a little bit.
Right.
And he really hasn't played basketball in almost a year, like in a game setting.
Mm-hmm.
And if they lose out on Duren, they're basically relying on him to be that guy. And there isn't a backup, really.
Right.
I mean, you've got guys that can play the 5, but they're not really 5s. So if Oscar doesn't work out, then they could have some problems. It's not going to kill them because they still have good players at all the other positions. But Yeah, man. I want to ask you this too. I have a little bit of a theory. If say Kentucky did back off on Kofi,
Right.
I think, Cal can be a little arrogant of a guy, well earned. And maybe he thinks that just because he's involved in Jalen Duren's recruitment that he's going to get him. And maybe that's why he's like, well, we're involved. People may say we're behind, but we're not behind. Like maybe he's thinking that, and really that might not be true.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could cost him. What do you think about that? You think that could be true? Or do you think that's a little far-fetched?
Not far-fetched. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think Cal has been in enough living rooms. He's had enough people in his office. I think he has a good gauge on recruits. Obviously, I think that's kind of dropped off, but you see it kind of coming back when he steps in Ty Washington and gets him to commit in just a couple short months. Jalen Duren. It's weird how confident these reports are, because the people reporting them, the people that have the sources are very confident, but the people reporting the sources are like, no, like from the national perspective, it's like Miami, it's Memphis, or it's G League. And it's very weird to see because the sources say, and again, covering their ass, I get what you're saying, but the sources say like, yeah, I think we're getting Duren. Like it's pretty confident that they're getting Duren. And I think Cal's been in enough players' living rooms to kind of have a good gauge on when he's has a lead, when he has piqued the player's interest. And I think Duren's not that type of player that's just going to commit to the team where he's going to get the most playing time. He's not going to where he's going to get the best stats. He wants to be ready for the next level, and that's always been priority one. And you see that in his speeches. You see that when he's playing on team final with 3 5-stars by his side. He just wants to win. He wants to play with the best of the best. And he doesn't care about being, 30 and 15 or whatever his crazy stat line would be at Miami, which is always nice. I'm not saying it's not, but you don't really get better by doing that. You're kind of just showing your strengths instead of exposing your weaknesses in a role. But I don't know. I mean, obviously, before the Kofi stuff happened, it's not a coincidence, and I mentioned this a minute ago. It's not a coincidence that the Duren stuff died down. It's not a coincidence that Memphis got crystal balls. It's not a coincidence that people are reporting that Miami and G League are the favorites. That's not a coincidence. That was Kentucky going out of their way to recruit Kofi.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Which again proves that this idea that they didn't have interest is just ridiculous. Like, you don't push the number one recruit to the side,
right,
for a guy if it's not serious.
Right. That's true.
I don't know if you know this guy. His name's Travis Graff, because I was looking at Rivals. I didn't know he had like actual prediction Jalen Duren to Memphis. This guy's a staff writer at Cats Illustrated, which is Kentucky.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, he also recently got the Jalen Washington.
And I apologize. I think Travis Graff was the first one to report on this Kofi Cockburn, and then but it was on a subscription service, and I think Drew Franklin was the first one to release it to the public. Yeah. So,
and then the other one is Brian Moss. He is he's a Memphis publisher. So, but yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know he actually had predictions to Memphis. Again, that's weird. Maybe Penny coming back. Maybe because Torres was reporting that he was a serious candidate. Mm-hmm. Maybe he found out that Duren was like, well, hey, wait. If you stay at Memphis, then I'll go play there. And then maybe he was like, oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll go let this other guy fail with the Magic for 4 more years, and then I'll get the job in the future.
Yeah, and then I'll get to coach 2 of like top 2 picks, and Duren and Wiseman. Like,
Yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, maybe that has something to do with it, but I don't know, man. It's interesting.
And
I
again,
love today how Kentucky fans were.
it was a
When they're
total collapse. It was
yeah,
it was a freak out. And I
yes,
wasn't,
for both sides of the situation. Like
yeah, for
some
sure.
were saying no big deal, others were saying it was,
Yeah.
which
And
is it was awesome. I loved it.
I'm usually the one to freak out.
Yeah.
I didn't freak out. Like, I was just like, well, okay, on to the next. Like, I recognize him as a cherry on top. People just, that's what I'm saying. It gets dangerous, and it kind of pollutes the water a little bit in the off season, because people are just gonna go ahead.
The problem was because, again, and factual or not, Matt Jones and Sean Smith and all these other guys were saying that Kofi makes them a real national title contender.
Yes, he does.
Which he does. I bet they regret saying that now,
for sure.
just because the outlook on the season now is like, well, now they're not because they don't have him. Because that's the way they were spinning it.
The way that they said it, they were so confident he was coming that they were saying, "Well, this is how important it is. This is how crazy it will be." And I'm the same. But when you look at this team before Kofi, we're a damn good team. I think we are. We're not as like a real like contender per se, but like we're going to compete as a top 10 team. And we could if certain guys play well, we could be a top 5 team. But adding Kofi, yes, would make us a top 5 team immediately. Adding Duren, I think, would make us a top 5 team immediately. But here's what I'm going to say before we move on. I think this is the third reason for why this was being reported today. I said maybe they really are going after Duren, whatever. Maybe Oscar Tshiebwe was mad. Here's the third one. So maybe Cal chose his guy. Maybe he would. I think there was a chance that he was kind of, sometimes like a guy, he'll be talking to 2 girls at once, leading both of them on, then he chooses. This is the hypothetical I'm choosing. And Cal was talking to both of these players, decided which one he wanted, and he made a big deal that he's not interested in the other. So the other one is like, okay, and feels a lot more safe.
Yeah, see, that's that arrogance that's kicking in, because then if he doesn't get Duren, he looks like a fool. Because
he looks like an idiot.
It gets to the point where he waited too long to make a decision, and then he gets nothing.
And he wants what he can't have.
I find that very hard to believe, though, because again,
for sure, that's the most far-fetched one.
Not because of that, that like reasoning, because Cal can be arrogant. I could totally see that, but the fact that he would have Antigua and Shin Coleman right next to him, that Kofi's their guy. You don't think they're saying like, hey, we should just get Kofi because he is good, he fits what we want?
I think Cal would have made that decision because they did kind of promise.
You don't think he'd value? Oh, come on, that is such BS.
I know it's BS, but it's just kind of a gentleman's agreement, just to don't poach the players that
There's
you're
no
coaching.
Gentleman. He already poached their staff. You think Cal was going to care to
poach
one of their players?
I'm saying for Orlando and Chin, Cal wouldn't have gave a crap. But I'm saying for those 2 players, it would have been Cal's decision, not their decision, because they would have been on the other side.
Just to clarify this, Sam and I were talking about how apparently there's this agreement that when Antigua and Coleman left Illinois, they agreed that they would not take any of Illinois' players this season. That is ridiculous. There's no way that could be true.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard before this happened. Before this happened.
If Underwood even thought that was, I bet Underwood was like, you know what? Screw you guys for even saying that or suggesting that, because that's like kind of insulting.
Yeah.
And secondly, like, come on. You think Cal's going to like risk a national championship team?
No, I don't. It's not Cal. Like Cal,
and he wouldn't have let.
if Cal
He
wanted
wouldn't have let them
him-
make the decision.
yeah,
He
if,
wouldn't have let them make the
right,
decision on that.
right. But if Cal wanted him, he would have told Orlando, "Screw your agreement, go get him." But something happened. I don't know what happened. It led to cut ties.
None of the reasons that they cut ties with Kobe are good ones.
No, I
Either
agree.
This unwritten agreement, the roster's soft and can't handle competition.
It's
or
not.
Cal is too arrogant and thinks he's getting Duren and he's going to end up not getting him. And they're going to come up and all three options are terrible. I don't know which one's better. Like, I guess the arrogance, at least, because you think you have a chance with Duren, but I don't know.
Gosh, I get it. Like, if you're Oscar Sheboy, like, I get why he would be pissed. Well, and I think him being pissed, definitely as a big man who relies on his power and his strength, I think why wouldn't Cal want him to be pissed?
Exactly.
You know, right? So I think that
you don't want a player comfortable. You don't want him because he knows now. Oscar's like, yeah, I'm the guy.
Exactly.
No one behind me.
Exactly.
That's not good. That's not good.
That's bad. That's terrible.
Yeah.
There's no and I agree with you. Like, I'm not sticking up for Cal here. Like, I think this was a dumb decision.
This was not a good. Yeah, this was not a good moment.
It was a definite risk if it's for Duren, and if they get Duren, we're all happy and dandy, and this episode doesn't mean
all this
anything.
is moot. Yeah, it means absolutely nothing.
Right. But that doesn't look likely right now.
Well, okay, it does mean something a little bit because I still I don't think you take the gamble. Like, I get it. If they get Duren, whatever.
You don't. You don't, and I don't agree with it. But if it pays off, it pays off. Yes. And it's moot. It's
in
still
the future.
Moot.
In the future, Cal, that you gave it. Don't do this again. If you got the All-American at your doorstep, just bring him on in.
Exactly.
It's okay. We don't need Jalen Duren or whoever it'll be in the future.
Exactly. But let's kind of move on because that was the hot button issue we needed to definitely expand upon. But the other recruitment, there's like 2 other recruitments going on, maybe 3, that really deserve our speculation. The one that is the craziest, the one that we should be paying attention to the most, because I said he could be the number 1 option on a Power 5 team. It's Kevin Obanor's recruitment. Let me just take you through Kevin Obanor's recruitment.
Sorry.
No, okay, we'll get to that. But let me just take you through Kevin Obanor's recruitment. So he announces that he's joining in the transfer portal on July 1st or July 2nd, one of the two. He comes out with there's a list of teams that have reached out to him that come out that day. I think 3 days ago, or maybe 4 days ago, his top 10 is released. Yeah. And the next day, his top 3 is released. Then the next day, his top 2 is released.
I'm curious on what you think is happening in these days. Like, what is going on? Like, is there just text messages? Like, I don't understand how he's cutting his list so fast. I mean, I guess you have to when you're in late July.
Right. So I think definitely for the 3-2, Andrew Slater, the guy who's been breaking all the Kofi news, the guy who's been all over the recruiting game as of late, he reported when he released his top 3, he said, Alabama is not recruiting Kevin Obanor. And then the next day, it is released that is Texas Tech and Arkansas are the final 2 for the kid.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think they kind of put Alabama in there, and Alabama was
half
just
the list is probably not teams that had made it. They probably didn't even make contact with him. He's like, yeah, I'm throwing these guys in there.
Yeah. And I don't know why you would do that, because like Arkansas and Texas Tech are not schools to like not be proud of. Like, those are great teams. Like, those are going to be top 5 seeds. So
most likely, yeah.
You have a take.
100%. Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, this is embarrassing. I'm no longer a Kevin Obanor fan. If he goes to Arkansas, first off, Max Asmus goes back to Oral Roberts, and he's just like not even considering going back there, which is just disgraceful in itself. And not only that, he's going to consider going to the team he lost to in the tournament. It's a big Kevin Durant move right here.
Yep, it's Kevin Durant. It's Kevin
Snake.
Durant.
He's a snake if he goes to Arkansas. Biggest villain of college basketball. Maybe he wants that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I will no longer be cheering for him. If he goes to Texas Tech, though, it's fine.
We're a Kevin Obanor podcast. As soon as that happens, we're a Kevin Obanor podcast.
Sure. We can cheer for him. But if he goes to Arkansas, he's public enemy number 1. And we are actively rooting against him. We are hopping off the Muss bus.
Oh, I'm not ready to hop off the bus.
We're rioting. We are rioting. We're throwing things at the bus. So, yeah, that's how I feel about it.
I love it. No. So, I mean, let's get into the logistics of it a bit. So, the SEC, even with the Kofi, whatever, Kentucky is number 1 in the SEC right now, in my opinion. Alabama has taken a hit. They're number 2.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Alabama has taken a hit with Jaden Shackelford. Joshua Primo, I think, went in the draft as well. They've lost some vital pieces from last year's team. Obanor goes to Arkansas. They're number 2. I think Arkansas would jump Alabama with the addition of Obanor. Do you agree or disagree?
I would agree. I think it'd be like 1A, 1B for me.
Really?
Arkansas and Kentucky. Like Kentucky's 1A, but I think Arkansas is right behind them.
So you think they're that close to Kentucky with the addition of Obanor?
Yep.
Huh. So, and you would hate them. So,
oh yeah, but again, it's like I'd agree because like when Kevin Durant was top 5 NBA, like Obanor's really good.
Yeah,
still don't. That's why he shouldn't be going to a team that's top 3 in the SEC. Like, come on, man.
Hey, no, seriously, I want to talk about this. So, say he goes back to Oral Roberts. Yeah. How good are they actually?
They're a top 25 team, probably.
I mean, seriously, those would be 2 of the best players in college basketball.
They would have 2 Wooden Award nominees at the beginning, like easily.
Yes.
They would run through their conference, probably go undefeated. And I don't know what seed they would be.
Probably
if they go into the conference tournament, I don't know what their non-conference schedule looks like. But if they're like undefeated through the entire regular season, conference tournament, everything,
they wouldn't be because they have a tough non-conference. They did last year.
Yeah.
They played all those
that's
guys.
right. Yeah.
I
mean, he should go back there, and I am very disappointed. He's taking that tournament. I mean, I feel bad for Max Asmus.
If Asmus did it too,
I don't think he makes the tournament. I don't think he makes the tournament without Obanor on that team.
If Asmus went in the portal too, like, okay, that's fine. Like
then
if they both do it, then I get it. Yeah. But Asmus is being true.
Asmus is Russell Westbrook.
He's being Westbrook.
And Durant is just ditching him.
Oh, that's so upsetting. That's so upsetting because they quickly became like
they would have been the
big
best
part
duo.
of everybody's heart.
Are they the best duo in college basketball? Would they have been?
It would have been up there. They definitely would have been up there.
I
mean, people are saying. I mean, but Drew Timme and Chet Holmgren, they had nothing on Kevin Obanor.
Too big. Can't do that.
Johnny Juzang and Tiger Campbell.
No. I think Obanor and Asmus are better.
Okay, I get it. All right, and then finally, before we get to Alex, let's wrap up on some Marcus Carr talk because he has still not decided where he's going to play next year. It's going to be so funny. So Marcus Carr is a good player. He's a solid college player. The fact that he has stretched out this recruitment for so long, when there is a chance he's not real, like his efficiency wouldn't be great. He'll score a lot of it if he gets his volume, but like there's a chance that he's not really that great because he played well at Minnesota, but he has quickly raised his interest in just the college basketball world. Like people think he's an elite point guard now just because of the drama he has created. No, like people think that. As a Big Ten fan, do you see what I'm talking about a little bit?
Yeah, I get it. And he's high profile.
Yeah.
And I think on a certain team, he is the missing piece that like could put a team like that moves the needle for that team. But Texas needs a point guard. That's not what he is. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
It would help. He's a ball handler, but he and Andrew Jones, like they're kind of similar. They're better off the ball, can handle, but they're not true point guards. They're not they're not facilitating for everybody else.
Yeah.
He can. I don't think his turnover number is very good. Assisted turnover is probably not great. Probably a part of playing with bad players. Maybe it'll improve on a better team. But I look, Bryce and I have been very clear when he was maybe going to go to Kentucky. We
been
don't
very
like him.
vocal about it. Yeah.
Do not like him for
Extremely
that role.
vocal. Yeah.
Is like a combo off guard playing with a good point guard. Fine. That's good. Keep the ball out of his hands for the most part, but when he gets it, he can ISO whatever. That's fine, but that's not what he's going to do at Texas.
Yeah.
Unless, Devin Askew, which won't happen. So
yeah, I'd seen Devin Askew. He's not going to get there. I like Devin Askew as a person. I'm sure he's a great guy, but he is not a good college basketball.
I don't think
player.
Look, he could be like a guard too, but I don't think he's a true point.
I don't really know what he's good at.
He could compete defensively.
Yes, that's what it is. I've been looking for it. It's like he's okay defensively. Like maybe he's average defensively, but he struggles in shooting.
He's definitely not like a facilitator.
Not a facilitator.
Not at all.
And then people, that's what they thought that's what they thought he was. They thought they thought he was just a dog, like a workhorse, and it just didn't work out at Kentucky.
Maybe a change of scenery will.
Hopefully.
But I doubt it. Sorry.
Maybe we see a Mac McClung type, progression.
Yes. That would be insane.
Under Chris Beard. But yeah, I mean, I bet that's all the topics I wanted to get to. Alex is on in the second segment. You got anything you want to say to the listeners before we get out of here?
Yeah. Cal is arrogant. He messed up big time. This was he just messed up completely. I hope that Duran does not go there. Hope he goes to Memphis. And Kevin Obanor is a snake. And Marcus Carr is overrated.
Connor was so excited. He's in the best mood for all of this stuff to be talked about.
This is great.
He has wanted to talk about this Kevin Obanor news for so long. And
I think I called you. I was like,
oh yeah,
dude, this guy is Kevin Durant. As soon as Arkansas was the final. Well, first I congratulated you because you predicted this.
I predicted it when the day he entered the transfer portal.
You were just like, he seems like an Arkansas guy. And I was like, yeah, probably. That makes sense. They're good,
I saw like
didn't even put it
Justin
together.
Smith.
Yeah, didn't even put it together that he's a snake for going there. So if he goes there.
That's a snake move. It is a snake move. He should have went to Oral Robert. He should have went back. Run it back, baby. Run it back. Run it back with the Oral Robert. What is their mascot?
I don't know. I have no idea.
It's got to be something cool. It's got to be weird. It's like the Golden Eagles or something. I bet it's the Golden Eagles. I mean, if I had to guess. Anyways, Alex is on right now.
Best shooter in the country.
Best shooter in the country. We professed it. Manifestation that he is the best shooter in the country.
Yes.
I hit him with some uncomfortable questions about what his stats will be next year. So tune into that because one thing about Alex, I want to preface this before we get into the interview. He is our client. He is somebody that we're going to market. He's somebody that's going to market us. But we have our work cut out for us because he is the most humble human being on earth. He
sure is.
Shows no signs of cockiness whatsoever, even when I'm begging him to be cocky. So just listen for that. It's a great interview. You'll find it entertaining. Just some talk about we've known him for years, so just some talk about that. But yeah, great interview. Go listen. Connor, thank you for joining me. And since I won't say it at the end, love you guys. And now we'd like to welcome on the newest member of the Hot and Cold team, our special partner, our favorite player in the country, I think I'm comfortable enough to say that. It's Alex Hemenway. How you doing today?
Howdy, howdy, howdy. What's happening?
So I just want to start off this interview by saying we're incredibly excited to have you on the team as a partner. I think as soon as this dropped, you were our very first priority to get you on the team, throw a little bit of money towards you, and let's get this partnership started. So, are you excited to join the hot and cold team? We'll start off with that.
Oh, 100%. No, definitely likewise. I mean, shoot, I don't know. How long have we known each other? Like
A long time.
We're literally since pre-K, kindergarten through whatever.
Exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, no, being able to partner with the new NIL rules, being able to partner up and get this thing rolling. It's honestly it's super dope that we're able to do this now.
Yeah, for sure.
So other than us, obviously, we had the priority since we've known you for so long. But other than us and partnering with Hot and Cold, I know you've talked about doing some streams and stuff, but what else do you have planned with NIL, and how are you going to capitalize on this?
Yeah, definitely. Like I was telling you beforehand, once these PC issues get figured out and we can finally get a working PC after about a month and a half, 2 month period. Once I get that rolling, then I'm hopefully going to get everything set up on Cameo, get that set up. Then you got Yoke Gaming. That's a little gaming app that I'll be able to hopefully get up rolling, where you can people or fans or whatever will be able to game with me in segments, and then be able to pay for like time slots and stuff like that to be able to have segments out of data to play with me and stuff. So those are just kind of the first few that hopefully I can get rolling and let everybody know, let some businesses know that I'm willing to work with them.
You're a Barstool athlete, correct?
Correct. Still waiting on a shout out.
There we go.
Still waiting. I got it like it was like third, fourth day. Yeah. I got the confirmation email, but still wait. I guess they're just super backed up or something.
I swear every time I look, there's at least they're posting like 200 a day. There's so many athletes.
Oh, yeah, they got, I guess, banned from posting too much, which I didn't know was a thing.
Oh my God. What is Barstool? Like what do you get from it?
So like the description, when you filled out the survey and stuff, you put your address down or whatever. So I'm pretty sure it's just going to be free merch and stuff.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
But I mean, shoot, Dave in the video was saying free admission to parties and free pizza. So as soon as he said that, I was like, hey,
oh yeah,
might as well. You never know.
So obviously NIL is a big story in the off season, but people are definitely, taking their focus away from what is the most important thing to these players. And I know to you, it's not just making money off your own name, image, likeness. I know it's, getting prepared, trying to make it to the next level, and getting, better on the court as a player. So in this off season, obviously going into your third year at Clemson, you're getting better every year, but what are you mainly focusing on to become a better player?
Yeah, great question. Just, really every aspect, honestly. I mean, a lot of people kind of narrow it down to a certain tool or certain aspect, but honestly, I've just been working on everything, like strength, getting bigger, getting stronger, as well as just ball handling, improving ball handling, and then just making sure the shots needing to stay where it is, because I mean all of it kind of plays a role into itself. So I've just really focused on kind of sharpening and getting everything right in every aspect this summer. Haven't really narrowed it down too short of a list of what I needed to work on, but a lot of work this summer for sure.
Are you willing to say that you're the best shooter in the nation right now?
You've known me for a while. I'm not a real.
I'm just trying to get something cocky out of you, and I know I won't do it, but I want it.
Yeah, no, I'm not a boisterous human being. I think both of you and Connor know that. So,
oh yeah,
I'll let you guys decide that. I'll just keep getting up the shots. That's all I can do.
Connor, he's the best, right? I mean,
Oh yeah. I tell you what, back in the day, in the feeder basketball days when Alex was clearly better than everyone else, like if someone just walked by it and was watching, like you wouldn't have necessarily thought that because it's just this quiet kid, just getting buckets, averaging like 25 a game in like 5th or 6th grade, just destroying people. Honestly, Bryson was probably the loud one. Bryson was the trash talker of our team.
Which is insane to think that now, because I mean, shoot, Bryson walks past a female and he just goes. But he act like he hasn't seen one of those in like 8 years. Sorry, Bryson.
That was amazing.
I saw the opportunity. I had to throw it out there.
I always loved it. I loved it.
And just he's gonna cry. I think I just made him cry.
Oh my god!
But in all actuality, my favorite memory of hymns from Newburgh, Indiana, the small town we grew up in, was I was never good enough to play on those feeder teams. I didn't hit my growth spurt.
Not even close.
I was not even close. I was the chubby. I was the chubby kid.
Don't even sugarcoat it.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. But I played in a rec league called Newburgh Youth Basketball.
Oh yeah.
For whatever reason, one year, Alex decided to sign up for that league.
I remember this.
He played in, I think, 2 games that year. Both games, I think he scored 100 combined points in those 2 games. And I was like, what is he doing in this league? It was the best thing I've ever seen. The best thing I've ever seen.
To be honest, yeah, I don't know why I signed up for that either, to be honest. I think I was just bored. I don't know what happened. But yeah, no, I think I never got to a point where I was just playing with my left hand the whole game.
I don't even doubt that.
I was like, you know what, it's too easy. I need a little bit of a challenge. So we just went out there and played left hand the whole game.
Sam, I don't know if you know this, but also we're talking about Bryson and Alex, even through middle school, when we like scrimmage, do 5-on-5, they were probably the 2 best players. They had to be on different teams. They had some epic battles, man. Dude. Especially in the 1-on-1 games before and after practice.
After practice, bro, we had.
Oh my gosh,
dude, that was man.
So our co-host of Hot and Cold has had battles, and presumably some of them he's came on top with 2 high Division I basketball players in Christian Lander and Alex Hemenway. Yes. He deserves some credit for that, because he's just, this tiny little 5'8" white, blonde kid, and he's just giving buckets out. He deserves some credit for that. For sure.
Yeah, Bryson. Sorry I had to do you like that, buddy, but we're building your brand back up on this podcast.
He may need some help with his game though in other areas.
Okay. Yes. That's what we're here for.
Go ahead.
So getting onto next season a little bit, kind of tell us about what your summer's been like so far. I mean, I'm assuming it's kind of been back to normal compared to last year, and just kind of tell us what you guys have been doing this summer, and then kind of what you guys' expectations are.
Definitely. Yeah, no, this summer's really hasn't been too bad, honestly. Really just been a more offensive mindset teaching summer for the new guys. We'll have individual workouts during the week where you just work on your skill, work on your individual game. And then during our team workouts, we'll start with a little segment and little stuff like that. And then we'll get into all our teaching stuff for just, getting everybody, all the new guys acclimated to offense, things of that nature. Excuse me. But yeah, no, it's really just been a more offensive mindset summer, just getting all the new guys acclimated to just kind of how our offense works and that nature.
So what have your practices been like so far between, has there been some battles out there yet? Has people established their roles yet in the practices? Do you have any names to throw out there to watch out for?
I mean, it's kind of early. And like I said, a lot of the new guys are trying to learn the offense right now. So, I mean, it's just one we're trying to get everybody comfortable, because sure. I mean, comfortability plays a huge part in confidence and like roles and everything you said. So I feel like once a lot of the guys get confident in their roles and just feel more comfortable with the flow of our offense, things will take off. But yeah, no, I'll shout out my dog Hunter Tyson. He's been working his ass off the whole summer for his senior year. So I think he's gonna have big things ahead for him. Same with everybody else, really. Everybody's been working, but he's just he's our lone senior this year. So
I was gonna say, you guys are young now. You guys kind of lost your senior leader. So is it gonna be you and Hunter kind of leading the squad here? You guys are kind of the upper class. That's crazy to think about. Like,
I know
we're considered upper class, like technically. Like,
I know,
crazy.
Literally, I think like I'll blink and I'll flash back to like freshman year of high school. And for sophomore year of high school, I'll just think back to the glory days, and I'm just ridiculous. But yeah, no. To answer the question, we have let's see, the lone senior, and then we have four juniors. So it's going to be really on our backs to kind of lead this year and lead by example, and just get everything and they ordered shape to be able to go out and win the season.
So playing with Clemson, obviously, they're obviously a high-powered program, but the competition is better than almost anywhere else in the country. ACC is consistently one of the best conferences in the country, and it's not going to be any different this year with guys like Paulo Banchero coming in, Dawson Garcia, Caleb Love, Caleb Mills, all these guys. So how excited are you as a player just to be, on the court with these guys and competing against them night in, night out, and, showing that you are the best shooter in the country? And I'm going to try to say that as many times as I can this interview.
Manifested. I like it.
Yes.
No, it's going to be awesome, honestly, being able to play in a league like this. You don't really have any off nights.
Yeah.
Even like teams that finish at the lower end of the league. I mean, you put them in a different league. You could probably predict that they'll be top 4, top 5 every year almost. So, I mean, it's a tough league to play in, but it's a fun league to play in because you get to, like you said, face all these guys that, the one and done era type players. So yeah, it's really dope to be able to go up against guys like that every night.
Yep.
Being in the ACC, you get to play in the ACC Big Ten Challenge.
Correct.
And this, we talked about this, and your guys' matchup is Rutgers.
Little rematch.
And I was like, revenge game, Alex dropping 30.
That's to his head. Alex,
is that immediately a game you guys have circled on the calendar?
Oh,
is that like, we got to get this one?
Oh yeah, I'm a little sad we have to go up to Rutgers. I wish we could have got to play in Little John, but I'm okay with that. That'll just hopefully make that win that much more sweeter.
Go play in their high school gym.
Yeah.
Of 3,000 fans.
That sounds awesome.
Hey, we don't like Rutgers on this podcast. We don't like
not
Rutgers.
at all.
Okay. I was getting that vibe after that comment, but
it's more Connor. He just doesn't like Geo Baker.
I don't like Geo Baker. Or there were so many people last year.
It sounds like you're the real soft spot.
Yeah.
No, but
they beat IU in the Big Ten tournament. It was one of the worst games I have ever seen.
We were
in my
at
life.
that game and it did not go well, and it was sad to watch. All right, so I mean, I think I have the question that everybody's been asking for. Are we going to see a masked Hemenway?
Oh God, hopefully not. Hopefully, my nose is done breaking.
I was gonna say, we talked about it. You've broken your nose a bunch of times.
Yeah, it's I think we're on our third break.
Oh.
Same amount as PC failures that I've had.
Oh my gosh. That's so hey, and now that we got this partnership going, we got this merch line going. If you, for whatever reason, God forbid, you have to wear this mask, we're making masked Hemenway shirts.
That's you might want to get that or throw the HC logo on the mask.
Oh,
that's what I was saying.
Yes,
that's what I was saying a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
Put it in top right, because you just can't affect the shot, so we just got to get it in a spot where I don't have a glare.
No, but how difficult is that to play with the mask? Like, do you acclimate to it, or is it difficult?
No, it's not it. But like being able to, I practiced with it for. My first introduction to that was high school. That was I broke it the day of Santa Switch of our school dance. Great timing. But thankfully it didn't like move too much. Like it didn't have any disfiguration or anything like that. But yeah, this last one kind of disfigured it pretty well. So hope, but yeah, the mask is definitely not it. It's just, I mean, your peripherals, like there are times in practice that I'd be like, because coming off flare, being the shooter, you got to come off flares, come off all that. So I'm like looking up trying to use my peripherals, and like I just, you can't see anything at all. It's like the ball will be coming over and you won't even know it. So yeah, it's hard to acclimate to, but I mean,
you're looking at Devin Booker right now, like in the Western Conference, like every chance he got to take it off, he did.
No,
and I think he started playing without it. Even though he probably should have been playing with it. Like he was like, screw it.
100%. No, he did, but I mean that represented my feelings for it as well. Just no love whatsoever towards those things.
All right, so final thing, and then we'll let you go. I don't love doing this to you, but I know you're humble, and I'm gonna try one more time to get some cockiness out of you, because I think the fans deserve it. I think you deserve to show it. Right. Give me your stat line for next year.
Oh God, you're putting me on the spot.
Oh man,
it's a question.
It is a question.
What are you striving for?
Oh shoot,
percentages.
I mean, shoot. I mean, it'd be. I mean, if we're going ideal, I mean, shoot, we'll put up 30, 10, and 5 or something like that.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's what I wanted. Yeah,
we can manifest that all we want.
Okay.
Be realistic. Shoot, I mean, just I'd say double figures points. I think that would be a good lift in that percentage department, and hopefully, I mean, shoot, being able to average 5, 6, 7 boards and a couple of probably like 3 assists almost. Yeah, I think that'd be a pretty good stat line. You know, just being able to kind of lift in the point department and lift in the rebound department. I feel like those would be two good areas to improve.
All right. Well, I didn't mean to put you on the spot there. I don't know if you felt comfortable, but you did have the wrong answer, and it should have been coach speak. Whatever it has the team win, or just something about the team.
There you go.
You know, the 2K when you get it after the mic.
No.
No, we don't want that. We don't want those answers.
Whatever raises the team chemistry. But again, Alex, we're so excited to have you on the team. It was a very fun interview. I just wanted to get you on, kind of, get your voice on our platform. We're going to have so much stuff to do over this year. We're so excited to do it, man.
100%. No, yeah, very, very excited, very stoked to be able to be a part of the team with you guys.
Yeah.
Like you said, got a lot of fun things planned for the future.
Yes. And hot and cold, our whole brand is to disagree on teams, obviously Kentucky, Indiana, but I think we have one common team this year, and it's obvious. It's Clemson. Go Clemson.
Absolutely.
Go Tigers. We're so excited. We got to get down there sometime for a game.
100%.
I don't know, but
100%. Show you guys a good time.
Yes, sir. But good having you, man. We'll have you on again soon. We'll do some cool work. All of our audience will see it soon. But again, thanks for coming on. Have a good one, man.
Oh yeah, appreciate y'all.